Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me. And guys, as you can see, I am not where I belong. I'm actually at my in law's house in my wife's childhood bedroom making a video about who's going to score touchdowns this Thanksgiving. I know, the world is a wild place. Yes, this is my wife and I on our wedding day. That was hung up after the fact. She didn't have that in her room growing up. That'd be crazy if she did. Let's start talking about touchdowns. Today's video is only going to be about Thanksgiving and Black Friday, so 4 total games. And if you notice this up here above me, that is a video I made talking about NFL kickers and how they have evolved over the last 20 years with some data. So if you like the data I provide on here, you may want to check that out. Although that won't help you with betting, that'll just be helping you with conversations to have after you eat Thanksgiving food. Speaking of Thanksgiving food, all right. I want you to comment below your best and worst Thanksgiving foods, your favorite, your least favorite. Here's the deal. I don't know if deviled eggs are my favorite necessarily, but I like them a lot. Green bean casserole's up there. I prefer ham over turkey. I like a good mac and cheese. Noodles are good. But worst for me has to be that jar of cranberry sauce. Never been a fan. Probably never will be. All right. Let's talk first about Chicago and Detroit. Here's all the updated data for you. When I look at this, I do notice that Chicago is pretty good at defending the passing touchdowns. Detroit may also be without Amon-Ra St. Brown, which could hurt them, but I'm just not going to doubt this Detroit offense. I refuse to doubt this Detroit offense every time. I don't. There's no every time I do because I never do. Okay, 22 running back touchdowns, which is more than some teams have in total. Speaking of those teams, the Chicago Bears have 23 total touchdowns this year. So Detroit has almost as many running back touchdowns as Chicago has scored, period, which is insane. Montgomery is questionable along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So that's 20 of the 43 offensive touchdowns in terms of production that could be missing from this game. I don't have a prediction on what's going to happen, but I think Gibbs is certainly a very trustworthy and good enough backup, if you can even call him a backup. So I'm not too worried about this offense. I think they will still perform. If you look at the first touchdown scored, Detroit scores first a lot with the running back, and Chicago allows 3 and 3 to running back and wide receiver. I just think Detroit dominates this one at home. I think Chicago struggles to score. So, like I always say about Detroit, just pick some guys and it will probably happen. The middle game of the day or the afternoon game is the Giants and Dallas. And guys, somebody has got to put points on the board because somebody has to win this game. It's ugly. We don't know if Tommy DeVito will start. We don't know if Drew Lock will start. My guess is Drew Lock, but it's not a confident guess. As for Dallas, we have Cooper Rush. Again, first touchdown scored, 1 for New York, 3 for Dallas. So I don't have a prediction there. There's just not a lot of optimism except for the fact that Dallas's defense is weaker or has been weaker than the Giants' defense. Tyrone Tracy is a guy that I'm looking at for the Giants, and Cavante Turpin has only scored 2 this year, but they have come in back-to-back games. He seems to be more involved in the offense, and he's catching my eye. Now, you see Brandon Cooks on there. I believe Brandon Cooks was just elevated to the roster today. I don't know if that means he's going to play or if he needs a week of practice first. So he's an option, another weapon for Cooper Rush. So maybe you want to go with Brandon Cooks, but I would double check that before I do anything with it. Miami and Green Bay is your late game or your night game. And you have to take all this with a grain of salt because Tua is back and he has not played for the majority of games. So the data will be skewed in that way. So you can see Miami is red for wide receiver touchdowns. I don't think that's indicative of what we're going to see this weekend against Green Bay. And if you want to talk about a weakness for the Packers, it would be they're allowing wide receiver touchdowns. So I would say I have a good-ish feeling about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle this weekend. I think the matchup is decent. And for Green Bay, they score well with their wide receiver. And Miami has only allowed 5 wide receiver touchdowns, which is one of the league's lowest, but 13 to the running back. This is after Josh Jacobs comes off a 3-touchdown game last week, so maybe you like Josh Jacobs in this one. Last game we'll talk about. And again, guys, I'm going to provide all of the Sunday games at a later date. As you can see, I'm not where I belong. I'm not where I belong. Okay, I'm not where I usually make these videos. So I want to be giving you the best possible product And so I'm not going to put all the Sunday games on this and do it here while people are trying to sleep in the next room over. But I did want to get this out to you because I know that some of you guys rely on this on Thursdays. Okay, this is our Friday game. This is Black Friday night, divisional matchup. In what I think could be an ugly game, the only thing that catches my eye here is the Raiders allowing 7 tight end touchdowns, one of the league worst. And we know about Kansas City's main touchdown or main tight end target. And I say main, but Travis Kelce only has 2 touchdowns this year. Noah Gray has 4. Noah Gray had 2 last week. He is becoming a very dependable red zone target for Patrick Mahomes. But it seems like in the betting landscape, when you finally catch on to a guy like Noah Gray in this instance and you bet him, oh, Tyreek or Travis Kelce scores, right? Like that's the kind of thing that happens. So I'm not endorsing Noah Gray. I'm just saying he's become very popular in the eyes of Patrick Mahomes. One last thing before we get off of here is ESPN has a pretty cool promo tomorrow. I'm going to move this, so I apologize. We haven't seen this before, and some of you may know me from my Dinger Tuesday videos. This is very Dinger Tuesday-esque. All it's asking you to do, and again, this is on ESPN Bet, is place a $20 wager, 3-leg touchdown scorer parlay with at least one touchdown pick from every NFL Thanksgiving game, and get $1 for every touchdown scored in all the games. So this is the play that I'm going with. I don't love it. I'll tell you why in a second. Feel free to tell me. Feel free to fade me. I don't care. I just wanted to show you guys. I think this is a pretty cool promo. I like Jamison Williams, especially if Amon-Ra St. Brown is a no-go tomorrow. I think he'll play. And if he plays, I still like Jamison Williams to score. So Jamison Williams will be my pick from the first game. Tyrone Tracy, I think, is a great pick at this price at 115 at plus money. I was expecting him to be closer to plus 100, maybe even minus 110 in this one. So I think that's a good price for him. Kevontae Turpin caught my eye at plus 500, but I am going to wait until I see about Brandon Cooks and kind of sort that out. But if you want a long shot, slot Turpin in there. And then my last pick, this is the one I don't love. I went back and forth between Waddle, between Hill, between Tucker Kraft, and between Josh Jacobs. I didn't love the price on Josh Jacobs. It's like minus 180 on ESPN. Tucker Kraft was like plus 185, which I liked, but my first gut said Waddle, so we're going to ride with Waddle. Turkey's Waddle, right? Like maybe there's something there. It doesn't matter. $20 pays $4.33. Let's hope that we can get that done. If not, we still get $1 back for every touchdown scored. So if we can get 4 touchdowns per game, which the Bears are probably going to do that alone. 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, we should get about $15 back, which makes this a pretty good promo. So thank you guys for sticking with me through thick and thin in this video. This was kind of more for me in some ways because I am heading out of town for a week in 2 weeks, and I got a new computer and mic, and I just want to make sure everything works before I do that. So hopefully this works and we're good to go. So any feedback on these type of things, I appreciate. But otherwise, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Do the things you need to do with your family. Enjoy the day. And if you need to take a day off betting, take a day off, buddy. But if not, tell me, mates. See you later.